Okay, I think we're all here, right, Megan? All right,
think so.
Megan. All right, would you like to read the statement of presiding officer, please?
Sure. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting, specifically the time, date, and public call and information, were included in the meeting that was electronically sent to the Echo Sentinel and Morris Daily Record and posted on the Township website. The agenda and public handouts for this meeting can be viewed online at www.longhillnj.gov. A public comment period will be held in the order it is listed on the meeting agenda.
Very good. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the
United
United
States
States
of
of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
Justice for all.
Boy, that tests your memory as you hear everybody saying the Pledge of Allegiance in 14 different cadences. Okay. Megan, would you please do the roll call?
Committeeman Dorsey,
Here.
Committeeman Rai,
Present.
Committeeman Verleza,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
Present.
Mayor Lavender.
Present. Okay. All right. First thing on the agenda, we're going to have a couple of presentations. We've invited New Jersey American Water to be with us today. I'd like to welcome Kyle Mitassel, Manoj Patel, and Joseph Infante. Kyle, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think you're going to give us some update on where you're at with regard to the system upgrades. And I know the residents are also interested in some information about the construction that's going along around town. So Kyle, it's all yours. Take it away.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. So thank you for inviting us to attend. Very excited to be able to share some of the work that we're doing and some of the great work that we've planned. So with that said, just for the good of the group, we do have just about 60 miles of collection main in the system, and that includes 1,200 manholes, 8 pump stations, and over 2,700 service connections. So, we are working very hard to maintain that service. It takes a lot. We've engaged quite a few folks within American Water to help work on these projects. We have engineers, some of which have PhDs. We have project managers, operators, inspectors, senior managers, and all sorts of support functions. So we're really pulling everybody together. So I'll kind of run through a few of the high-level projects and some that are the most impactful. So the first projects that we have that I want to go over are some of the pump station upgrades and rehabilitations. So of those pump stations that I listed, the 8, we are currently under contract and working on the Clover Hill Road and the Morristown Road pump station. Those are complete rehabilitations and upgrades to increase their capacity, make sure that they're more reliable, resilient, and give them some additional capabilities. We are expecting to have those projects complete towards the end of this year. As of right now, it's looking like the November timeframe. We are still waiting on the generator for those sites, again, to make sure that we have that adequate backup power. We are hearing that'll be by the end of the year, but we're a little bit at the mercy of the supplier. But those projects are going really well. They were fully engineered. They needed to be permitted, and then we did bid them out and select a contractor. So we are off to the races on both of those pump stations, and look to upgrade some of the others in the future as well. Those were the most in need of upgrades. The next type of project that we're working on is a reoccurring project. It's a cleaning and lining project. So essentially we go through, we clean, we televise the sewer line, and we line it to give it a new structural liner that seals the pipe. It prevents inflow and infiltration, and gives that pipe a brand new life. So to date, over the last few years, we've already lined just short of 30,000 feet of sewer main. That main included, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch, and even 24-inch pipe. So big accomplishment there, but still a lot more to go, given the size of the system. This year, we are under contract currently, as of right now, to rehabilitate, clean and line another 4,000 feet. That's going to be primarily along River Road with a few other smaller pieces possibly. But that project is also under contract. It's moving forward. And believe it or not, we expect to get started on that and have it complete sometime near Labor Day, if we can hit that target, but certainly in the short term, we'll get that one wrapped up. With that said, we're already looking to the future. Being a reoccurring project, cleaning and lining, we'll be pushing forward next year. We already have some scope of work loosely identified for next year. We have some areas that we want to get to. So we're currently looking at that and working on the permitting. It is a bit of a challenge because some of the areas are in wetlands or transition areas. So there is some permitting involved. So that's why we're starting to get that planning process going now, so that next year we can hit the ground running. So that's next year, but that will continue. We'll be performing cleaning and lining on the system, indefinitely moving forward. The next and probably the most exciting work that we're doing is actually at the wastewater treatment plant itself. So one that is progressing well is the operations building. So the existing ops building was okay, but we were going ahead and doing a full rehabilitation. The roof just recently was made watertight as the storms helped us prove. So we were able to replace that. We gutted a majority of the interior of the facility. We changed out some walls. We're replacing really quite a few things in there, including the laboratory itself. So we're going to have a new lab, a new administrative space, and rehabilitate the whole building itself. We expect to have that complete by the end of the year. We're hoping to have it occupied in the next 2 to 3 months, with the final completion by the end of the year. Right next to that building is actually a brand new building that we're in the process of building. That's a storage facility for our Vector truck and our camera truck, as well as a workshop and some other storage and administrative areas. If you haven't been there, it's gone up quite quickly now that the framing's done. We were waiting on the siding material and roofing material for a little while, but now that that's on site over the last few weeks, we've finished closing in the roof and 2 of the 4 walls. The other 2 walls will be done in the next several weeks, and then we'll look to do the interior. The interior of that facility is already framed out, so that we expect to go pretty quickly and actually have that building done by the end of this calendar year as well. So the operators and the team there are really looking forward to that, and it'll give us the ability to keep our vac truck ready in colder conditions. Because when you store it outside, you have to drain it. It's a bit challenging, and things can fail much more easily. So looking forward to having that capability. The next project that's upcoming again at the plant is the rehabilitation of the headwork screening system, where we screen the larger debris. We ordered that new unit several months ago, and the last update we received is that it's likely to be delivered late August, early September. So once that's in hand, we already have a contractor selected that's given us a proposal, and we will be moving forward with. So as long as the delivery is on schedule, on time, we expect to have that one done later this summer in the September timeframe. We are also moving into one of the largest projects at the plant, which is an upgrade to the filter building and the filters themselves. So this went out to bid. There was an engineering portion of this with the design first, as well as some permitting. That went out to bid. We have selected the contractor, and just in the last few weeks, we had that project kickoff meeting. So just to highlight a few of the details of that project will be, let's see, replacing all the filters, increasing their capacity. We'll be replacing several pumps, what we call the RAS pumps, the WAS pumps, the scum pumps. We'll be installing a scum removal tank. We'll be replacing all the piping and installing new piping, as well as valves. New UV disinfection building, and replacing all the associated drives, controls, and panels with the new equipment that we'll be installing. So this is a big project. It's a bit complicated because with wastewater, obviously the wastewater keeps flowing. So we need to get it done with the plant online. So a lot of coordination there, a lot of planning, but now we are starting to get the ball rolling with construction and looking forward to getting that one done. We expect that to be done in 2024 as far as full completion. There'll be some elements done earlier, but full completion will be done in 2024. Other than that major or primary upgrade there, we do have some other projects. Just to kind of list them off, we are currently replacing several stairways at the plant, replacing some safety grading. The safety showers and eye wash stations have been replaced, and there's a few more that will be installed. Temporary and permanent rehabilitation for the aeration trains. We had some challenges with the existing aeration trains, and we've come up with a temporary solution, and we'll be moving forward over the next few months and year with a permanent upgrade to one of the aeration trains. We'll also be doing some clarifier improvements. We'll be installing a clarifier walkway around the clarifier itself. That design is ongoing. We'll also be ultimately installing some odor control. So we have a design ongoing with that as well. We just received the most recent updated drawings. They're about 90%. So we're looking to button them up in the next few months and then move that one forward. We're also overhauling the UV system. We're adding some emergency generator hookups, and we're purchasing some additional emergency generators. And we've also installed some manhole level sensors to better monitor the system. So those are quite a few projects, obviously. Many of them are ongoing, and they all are supporting the system, the community, and compliance as well. They're also all very important and critical to the ultimate expansion of the system. Without those projects, we're unable to expand because the plant does not have adequate capacity. So we also do have an expansion project moving forward. We have put that project out to bid for an engineering study. The study will include some initial legwork, studying the system, the locations, the potential future expansion sites, doing some geotechnical work, and then ultimately reviewing that. And then we'll be moving on to the next phase, which would be the design. And we'll be designing the extension of the mains, and that will coincide with permitting. Obviously, there's quite a bit there. And then it will be bid out to contractors, and then construction will commence. As of right now, our target goal is still October 2025. We received the proposals. We actually anticipate to award one of the proposals this week for the phase 1 study, and the other study we expect to award shortly after in the next few weeks. We're just reviewing that bid right now, making sure they included everything we need in that proposal. So we're excited to get that started. That's going to progress quite well, and we should have the initial field work and study work done in early 2024. The project will then flow into the design portion, and there are some challenges with that, and some unknowns, and unfortunately some areas that are a bit out of our control, mostly related to permitting. We will have to apply for an amendment to the water quality management plan to expand the sewer service area identified. So again, something we're familiar with, and we'll be moving through as soon as possible once we have the proper engineering and information in hand. We'll also need to look at the potential locations of the mains and pump stations if we need them as well. And that could potentially lead to some property acquisitions or easements, and we'll need to identify those and then engage the appropriate folks to start to lay that out in order to move things forward, finalize the design, and get the permits in hand. With that said, this isn't going to be an expansion that we wait for every single bit to be ready to go before we put a single shovel in the ground. There's certain elements in certain areas that we'll be able to, or we're hopeful we'll be able to get started earlier than others. Some areas that may not require as much permitting. There's also some areas within the current sewer service area which avoids the amendment. So that's going to help us a bit there too. So our intent is to move forward, as much as possible every way we can in that regard. At the same time, we are also continuing to add connections that are exempt from the sewer ban. So to date, we've added 7, and we have another one that we'll be adding shortly, and we've had 1 reconnection. So all in all the different projects kind of weave together into a web that really bounce off each other to ultimately expand the system, improve our resiliency, improve reliability, ensure that compliant discharge of the wastewater, and most importantly, ensure the collection system for the residents. So those are really the biggest projects that we have going on. On the operations side, we continue to have smaller projects day to day. Little things here and there that we're fixing, things that are failing and being replaced. And the operations team and the operators and the management's doing an excellent job keeping everything up and running during these challenging projects. So wanted to focus on wastewater. I think that was the intent. So I'll just ask if there was anything else you wanted me to go over.
Yeah, I have a couple of high-level questions, and I think the rest of the committee might as well. Now, New Jersey American has invested a significant amount of money in these projects. This is a lot going on. What do you estimate that investment to be at this point?
It's a bit tough because we have different categories of funding, from the operations and the capital side. But I can tell you that just the wastewater projects that we've done. Well, actually, this year and next year combined, we're expecting to land in about $11 million in capital investment just this year and next year.
Okay.
Plus what we've done previous to that, and we'll have plenty more in the future as well, unfortunately.
And you're currently on track for the October 2025 commitment?
We are. That's our goal. We are pushing towards that, and that's what we're pressing with our engineering firms and our teams. Again, I highlighted a few challenges there, so it'll certainly be
sounded like red tape and bureaucracy and permits and stuff like that could potentially cause some challenges on some things, but in terms of technical issues.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, the biggest challenges are going to be a bit out of our hands, unfortunately, but
Right.
We can work through that. That is our goal, and that's what we're striving towards. And we're also making sure that all of the other projects that support the actual pipe extension are complete.
And I'm sure you have contacts with the EPA or the Department of Environmental Protection. Those folks are in the loop on stuff, and you're navigating all the changes that they're making to their regulations, I would assume, right?
We are. Yeah, we stay pretty close with them. And a lot of the projects that we're already doing, again, tie with that expansion, and they are well aware of those. We've had we've applied for several different permits for several different projects, and we have a very good relationship with them. So hopefully that pays dividends down the road.
And then I know some residents are interested in some of the major construction projects around town, one in particular being Northfield Road, where you had to put the sewer underneath the railroad tracks. I think you had some complications in terms of, the shale that's underneath most of our town. How is that progressing? And do you anticipate any other major road closures that folks might want to know about in the next few months?
No, I am familiar with that. That's our water department's handling that. And I did hear some of the challenges there. But things are moving. We've come up with a solution, and from what I understand, we're keeping that crew on site until that work is done to make sure we are out of there permanently. We don't want to stop and have to come back and cause disruption. So we're looking to get that done and move out of there. And we do have a solution, I believe, and that is moving forward. So
okay.
Hi, this is Randy Bunny, Administrator and Mayor. I did get notice tonight from Lieutenant that they did a pressure test on the pipe, and it did blow out one of the caps. So tomorrow they are going to be replacing that cap. Nothing major, but they are going to have to close down a section of the road, probably for a half day to a full day. Police officers will be on site to direct traffic accordingly. So that's a good sign with the pressure test. They only one area that they need to replace, and I think from that they would pretty much be done.
Correct. Yeah, and that's actually fortunate that the cap blew out. I've installed plenty of water main, and that's much better than the pipe. That means the pipe is doing what it should. So once that test is complete, we would tie that in and demobilize once we're wrapped up. So thank you, Randy. I wasn't aware of that cap even blowing off.
Matt, Brendan, Guy, Vic, any questions for Kyle and his team?
Nothing from me, Mayor, other than, thank you for providing the comprehensive update and for everything that is being done right now. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add to what Brendan and Vic said. Thank you, Kyle. That was an extensive and a very clear update. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything NJ American Water is doing. They are honoring what they said when we began this process some time back. And thank you to Manoj. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I don't know if that's correct, Manoj. And Joe, I think you presented once in a township committee meeting, so I think I remember that. But in either case, thank you to the NJ American Water team for giving the update tonight. Thank you.
Yep, we appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
And Kyle, Manoj, Joe, again, I'll offer my thanks. We're going to have you come in and do this again. Maybe we'll do this either at the end of the year or in January. And let's make this a habit. We'll do periodic updates as we march forward to completion. But great work. And I know that, when this is done, we're going to have some great service that's environmentally, on top of what it needs to be. So that's great. Thank you very much for showing up today.
Great.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody.
Mr.
Thank
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add one thing. Most people don't realize, the township committee, of course, realizes, because it's not a sexy business, water, and certainly not sewer. NJ American Water has been a partner with Long Hill House. So NJ American Water has been around long before anybody on this meeting was alive. So the sewer wastewater partnership is just an add-on, in addition to a relationship, a partnership that existed for well over 100 years. So thank you.
But Guy, I thought you were on the committee whenever they first came on board.
I find that ageist, Committeeman Ray, and I'm hurt, deeply hurt.
Puppy's on the way.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. Much appreciated. We'll be talking.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a good evening.
Okay. All
Thanks
right.
again, guys.
So next on the agenda, we have Andrew Kaczynski.
You nailed it.
And he is going to do our audit presentation. And maybe, Andrew, a little bit of background of what this audit is. And, every year, the Long Hill Township Administration is audited. Explain what that process is.
Sure. So this is the annual statutorily required audit of the financials of the township. There's a lot of different things that have to be filed every year financially. We have the annual debt statement, the annual financial statements, and then finally, when we get towards the end, we have the audit. So my team comes out and they spend about a week or so giving Randy a hard time and getting all the records from him, reviewing all of the transactions for the year, making sure that we're compliant everywhere. And then lo and behold, a few short months later, I come and I present the results of that audit to all of you. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here going through the current funds, debt information, the parking utility, and then just going over the audit comments and recommendations. So to start out, I always like to start in the current fund. That's, the big one, as it were. So we began the year with $2,932,000 of fund balance. We had total income of $48,276,000, which included $1,956,000 of fund balance, which we used in the budget. So we had total net income of $46,320,000. We also had expenditures of $45,807,000. which gave us an overall increase in our fund balance year over year of $513,000. Our ending fund balance was $3,445,000. The catalyst to why our fund balance is growing is due in part to two major things this year. One is that you have a phenomenal tax collection rate. Your tax collection rate this year was 99.37, which is very high. That's really excellent. You know, commendation to the tax collector, to Randy and everything. It's really a good sign of fiscal health within the township. And the other catalyst to this was that we had a big increase in the miscellaneous revenue, which was due to us bringing in $441,000 of American Rescue Plan funds. As far as your debt information, I just want to touch on this briefly. So as of the end of the year, the township had no outstanding debt. The Capital Improvement Fund had a balance of $245,000 as of 12/31. The Parking Utility Fund also was operating very well again this year. We began the year with $335,000 in fund balance. We had total income of $160,000, which we utilized $51,505 of fund balance for a net of about $109,000 in income. Good thing to note there is that the parking fees and permits were up approximately $20,000 from last year, which is good. We had expenditures of $87,880 in the parking utility, and we anticipated $50,000 of fund balance from the parking utility in the current fund as revenue for 2022. Overall, we had a decrease of $30,000. Again, we're still very healthy with where our fund balance is. We ended the year at $305,000. So we're remaining relatively stable. So the parking utility is also in good condition as well. Just to touch briefly on the trust funds, the trust funds are all healthy. We didn't have any issues with any of them. So just to leave that note out there, it often gets passed over, but I just like to touch on that really briefly when I present the audit. Moving on to your audit comments and recommendations, we had 3 management suggestions that I want to speak with you about. One of them was there last year. It's that we have some older accounts receivable in the general capital and the federal and state grant fund. We're just recommending that they be reviewed for collectability and canceled if no longer collectible. Again, this is not a formal recommendation. It's just a suggestion. We also had old federal and state grant reserves that we just noted should be reviewed and canceled if they're no longer valid. And we left a management suggestion in. We'll do this from time to time with new GASBs. So this year is GASB 96, which is the Subscription-Based Information Technology Arrangements GASB, SBITA for short. It basically changes the way that we're required to reflect software licensing being reported. When we get into doing 2023's audit, there is going to be some extra time that's going to have to be taken with that. We're starting now to do that with our school boards, and a lot of the agreements are coming in. Arrangements are coming in below the materiality value, for which we really don't have to do very much with it then. So we're hoping that that kind of persists into the municipal realm as well. But it's as it always is with this kind of stuff, when it's new, it's very difficult to tell. But we will keep you apprised and we'll keep you informed going forward on that. And then the only recommendation that was in the report is the recommendation that's been there for quite some time. And I know that I went over this with you last year, and I know that Ray's gone over it with you quite a few times. It's the segregation of duties recommendation, which historically we've identified that as an issue that's due to budgetary constraints. We really can't have the level of separation that would be required. I know that I'll just give my little spiel on that, is that it's very difficult to get rid of that unless you really have a central receipt person, and it's just it muddies the waters in the entire process of doing anything within the township. You have to go to someone, get a piece of paper, go to the central cashier, pay the central cashier, bring the piece of paper back to the other person, then finally get your permit or whatever it may be that you're you're in there for. So overall, another very good, healthy year. I want to say thank you to Randy. He's always very responsive to us and gets us all the information that we need. Makes our job a little bit easier.
Thank you,
If
Andrew.
anyone, you're welcome. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Guy, Brendan, Vic, Matt, any questions?
I have a couple questions. One, were there any irregularities in any of the departments that you reviewed, or you just did town hall?
We didn't find any irregularities in the departments. We do a review of all of the departments and make sure that the amounts that are on record that were collected within the departments match what was collected and put into the central account.
And again, there was no pushback or hiding materials or obstacles put up at town hall when you're asking for materials?
Not that my team made me aware of at any point.
All right, and finally, why do you guys keep giving us those books? I hope you're not billing us for them, are you?
No, they're free.
Thank you.
If
Well-
if you would like to make the determination that you just don't want the books, just let me know. If you want a very minimal number of the books, let me know. I'll take care of it.
We need one for Guy, and that's it.
Okay.
The only, first off, Matt's right. I agree. I actually like the physical copy, but I would concur that my wife would be thrilled if I didn't get it, because I have those things all over the house. But I'd like one, Andrew. So I'm a
Sure.
physical guy. I like to touch.
I'll follow up with Randy and he can get me a number of how many we actually need for next year, and I'll make sure that that's all that we get.
Vic, Brendan, anything?
Nothing from me. Thanks, Andrew.
Quite welcome.
Vic, you're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so with that, we have a resolution, the governing body certification of the annual audit. This is 23-216. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 23-216 to certify the audit that Andrew just provided? to
So
us?
moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
Yes.
Mayor Lavender.
Yes. Okay, so related to that, Andrew mentioned the audit corrective action plan, which he outlined. And this is resolution 23-217. So can I have a motion to approve resolution 23-217 to adopt the audit corrective action plan?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
yes,
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
Yes.
Mayor Lavender.
Yes. Okay, well, Andrew, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
All right, take care. All right, next, we have ordinance 521-23. This is a first reading and introduction. And this is an ordinance concerning local enforcement of the Uniform Fire Code and amending chapter 17 of the Township Code entitled Fire Prevention. Jack, do you want to give us a synopsis of this?
Yeah, Mayor, this mainly just updates some citations to various fire code regulations and some accrediting agencies, and the fire official moves some of the sections around. He's the one that has to enforce it. So it doesn't really make any substantive changes. It just updates things.
Okay. All right. Any comments from the committee? All right. So seeing none, can I have a motion to approve capital? This is not capital ordinance. This is ordinance 521-23 for the first reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
I'll second.
Thank you.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
yes.
Mayor Lavender.
Yes. Okay, and so the public hearing and second reading of this will be on September 13th, 2023. Next, this is capital ordinance 522-23, and this is a first reading and introduction, providing for various improvements in and by the Township of Long Hill in the County of Morris, New Jersey, and appropriating $587,500 from the Capital Improvement Fund of the Township. Randy, do you want to provide a summary of the items that this covers?
Certainly, Mayor. This covers equipment for the emergency services, including police, Sterling Fire, Millington Fire, some recreation improvements, and some public works equipment, and the demolition of the Everly house on the property we acquired last year.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments from the committee?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, I just walk right ahead, you brother.
Guy? Okay. Brendan, Vic, Matt? Any comments?
Sorry about that.
Okay, all right, very good. So can I have a motion to approve capital ordinance 522-23?
So moved.
Second?
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
Yes,
Mayor Lavender.
Yes. Okay, so the public hearing and second reading of this will also be on September 13th, 2023. Okay, moving right along, we're into consent agenda resolutions. I see there is, Brendan, I think you're abstaining from 23-225.
Yep, that's right.
Are there any other abstentions that aren't marked here?
Mayor Lavender, we are pulling 23-237.
Yeah, we're gonna delay on that. Okay. All right, would anyone like to pull a resolution to discuss or abstain from any? Okay, so can I have a motion to approve resolutions 23-218 through 23-239 with said abstentions?
So moved.
Mayor, do you want to
Second.
add the resolution I just circulated? Or do you want to do that separately?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to add the resolution I just circulated?
No, I think we're doing that in administrator's report,
Okay,
please.
thanks.
Okay, all right. So
I have a motion from Committeeman Dorsey. Is there a second?
I seconded it.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Paserchia,
yes.
Mayor Lavender.
yes. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's go to liaison reports. Vic, do you want to give an update on rec? Are you ready for that?
I am. Just give me a moment. And I am ready. If we could move on to slide 1. All right, slide 1, still 5 more concert in our Dog Days of Summer concert series. Please join us tomorrow night for another free concert as we welcome Lost in Place, a classic rock band with music from the 60s through the 90s. Bring your chair/blanket and the family. We'll see you by 6:30 p.m. Please note, 2 barriers have been installed at Town Hall advertising the summer concert series. Let's move on to slide 2. All right, fall junior field hockey grades 5 through 8. Registration is now open for all Watchung Hill students in grades 5 through 8 from Long Hill, Warren, Watchung, and Greenbrook. Training provided by Center Court Field Hockey, coached by Greg Aronio with assistance from Meade Briggs. Registered by August 25th. Program begins on 8/28. Please register on Community Pass. All right, we have slide 3, Family Fun Day at Sterling Lake for all Sterling Lake members. Saturday, August 26th, all day long. This fun day is filled with games and prizes for members of all ages. Please note, all guest pass fees are doubled this day. Moving on to slide 4, Red Cross First Aid Training Class is Tuesday, August 29th from 7 through 10 p.m. It's at the Long Hill First Aid Squad. Participants will learn adult and pediatric first aid care and receive a certificate good for 2 years once the course is completed. $32 per participant. Please register on Community Pass. All right, Sterling Lake Beach Dance is Friday, September 8th from 7:30 p.m. through 9:30 p.m. Admission is $5 at the gate. Chaperones are needed. Without them, we cannot run this event. Please contact the Parks and Rec Department if you can help out. Slide 6, we are getting ready for our fall and winter basketball programs. We are recruiting folks to work at the programs now. Applicants should complete our online application on the Recreation website. Must be able to work Saturdays and weeknights. We need supervisors, timers, referees, and scorekeepers. Please apply by 10/1. And finally, moving on to slide number 7. Mark your calendars now and start planning for those costumes. That's right, it's our annual Halloween parade will be held on Sunday, October 22nd at 3 p.m. at Cantor Park. We can't wait to see you all cook up in your cauldrons on the costume front. And that concludes my rec liaison report.
Thank you, Vic.
And,
Anything else? Go ahead,
Thank you. I'm going to actually move on to open space.
please.
Open space, we have a trail grant from the County Park Department for the Central Loop Trail. Design and permitting in 2023 is applied for, and the construction grant is applied for 2024. The Beautification Committee.
Before you move on to that, where is that trail going to be, Vic?
It's going to be along the rear portion of the property where it's a flood zone over there. It's wetlands. So the only thing that we could do back there are trails. So we're going to do the best we can and make some great trails back there.
And this is the Central Park property across the street from Valley Mall. So residents who might not be familiar with that, right?
Correct.
What's
All right,
the plan with that property ultimately?
Ultimately, I believe we are very close to finalizing access to that property at Walgreens. Once we have that confirmed access, we're going to move forward with the plans for a field, maybe dog parks, plenty of trails, parking. I also believe that I think that there's a planned discussion, maybe get the public involved and see exactly what type, if we can only fit one park, what type of park the public thinks would be best for that location.
Okay, all right. So next you said Beautification Committee, right?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
All right, we have an update on the rain barrel sale. We sold a total of 24 rain barrels. We have the electrical wraps. They're finally coming to fruition. We hope to have the illustrations for our next meeting in September and have the electrical boxes wrapped up before the holidays.
Yeah, for folks that don't know what that is, can you give a little bit of detail, what folks are going to see?
Yeah, so when if you look around town, a lot of times there's these large, unattractive utility boxes hanging from telephone poles, some of them coming up from the ground. And they're not sightly. We're looking to wrap them with picturesque illustrations so they're not so unsightly.
So we see this in some of the other towns. I know over by Dewey Meadows and Basking Ridge, they've got wraps on their utility boxes as well. So this is just one aspect of something that the beautification committee's been working on for a while, right? Right, Vic?
Yes, yes.
And then as far as the rain barrels go, if a resident wants to get a rain barrel, how do they go about doing that?
I believe they were ordered on the website, but unfortunately for this year, they're all sold out. So
All right,
we have to wait to the next season for the rain barrels.
got it. And then flower baskets. I think we saw flower baskets on Main Street in Sterling. Is that a true statement?
That is a true statement. Recently, the inserts for the flower baskets came in. DPW did a great job hanging them and putting flowers in them. I think they look great. A nice upgrade to Main Avenue.
Okay.
Additionally, we took a look, myself, Randy, and Al, we surveyed all 3 train stations in town. All 3 train stations were walked through and marked so that we know where our property begins and ends along, compared to where New Jersey Transit's properties begins and ends. And we have to know that because we're responsible for maintenance on our property, and New Jersey Transit's responsible to maintain their property, but sometimes the lines are ambiguous. They're not clear. So we're identifying where those lines are, and we have some plans to work with New Jersey Transit so that they beautify, clean up their portion, and DPW, Al Gallo and DPW are going to work to get our side, our property by those train stations looking good and cleaned up and beautified.
And do we have any plans for that are special other than just mowing the grass?
No, we're going to be planting some wildflowers, some shrubs, really cleaning it up and making it look nice.
Great.
Removing a lot of the old, dead trees and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a significant improvement by all 3 train stations.
All right. Well, thank you for your leadership on that.
Thank you. My
Anything
pleasure.
else? Anything else?
I think that's it. I think everybody's tired of hearing from me. Let's move on to the next liaison reports.
Okay. Guy, anything that you have to report?
I'm sorry, I'm still cackling. I don't know if anybody could see. I had another participant in the meeting who just left. This little cookie. She's a 7-pound, really tough dog. Anyway, she would like to see a dog park someplace. She told me before she was dragged away. Anyway, just if I could add something to what Committeeman Veleza was saying, one of the reasons why, and actually the major reason why the township can do it is that happens in Central Park or some other old properties that the township has purchased is because thread that goes back to the presentation earlier by NJ American Water.
Guy, you're breaking up.
The town,
You've got connectivity problems, so we're
that
losing a lot
sale
of that.
financial flexibility to do things, not just like, doing something with the property emergency vehicles, which we would not have been in a position to do. Did you not hear what I was saying, or including me, I think? Can you hear me?
You were breaking up. You had a connectivity problem.
All right. What I was basically saying.
I would turn your video off to conserve bandwidth, and then you will probably hear you better.
All right. You're such a technology expert. What I was saying is this meeting tonight, there's a lot of continuity to it. For example, NJ American Water presented earlier, and then we had the audit report. Committeeman Veleza talking about some of the projects that we may be considering in the future on the open space properties. It all ties to the sale of the sewer system. For those who weren't following this, that's what gave us the financial wherewithal, that we are debt free now. We have financial flexibility now. That's what leads to what may or may opens throughout the town. It's what led to emergency services vehicles, which will provide. So Vic, thank you for discussing that. I just wanted to make sure that the residents understood. There's a thread that goes through all of this, and Township is in such good and solid financial condition. Now, for the brief liaison report, I would say this: the first aid squad did approximately 50 calls in July. So once again, thank you to them. But most importantly, they are in the middle of their fund drive. Please, for those who are not aware, and I say it almost every meeting, the first aid squad in Longville Township is 100% volunteer. They do not have any paid members. What the service they provide to the town, they do not charge for. It's an amazing service that they provide. So please, if you have this, the capability of supporting them financially, please do. Carly Snyder's captain, everybody knows he's Bob English, and I name because I'm going to forget so many important people that are behind the scenes doing the work they do. Please support First Aid Squad. They are a critical. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Guy. Brendan, anything to report from the fire companies?
I'll leave that to Matt, but I can just give you a quick update on the
Master plan?
On the master plan. And, the master plan continues to be on schedule. I can give some of the dates. I have them in front of me. We expect to have by September 1st, a final draft. That will be reviewed at the September 12th planning board meeting. And on September 26th is when we'll hold our first public hearing. And so I know some residents were concerned that there might not be enough time for resident review of the master plan. But, with that 2 weeks, we'll certainly have it out to the residents in good time. And there are currently 3 public hearings scheduled if we need them. That would be September 26th, October 10th, and October 24th. And so with that, the subcommittee feels fairly confident that we'll be able to have a master plan available, finalized around the November timeframe, certainly in time for Thanksgiving.
Terrific. Thank you. And our thanks to the planning board, Tom Jones, Don, others, Brendan, yourself for leadership on this, pushing this thing forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right, Matt, you're the anchor man here on liaisons.
Yeah, great. All right. So with DPW, the street sweepers back out and moving. As Vic mentioned, they're working with the beautification committee. They installed the flower pots on Main Street. The flowers look real good. They're doing catch basin repair, pothole repairs. Obviously, go on the website if you want to report a pothole. They'll take care of it. They've been working on stormwater projects throughout the town, and they're going to continue to do this for the next month or so. Specifically, I know there was a resident on Madison who has a lot of water in his yard, and we met with him. They were out there last week. The pipe was collapsed, I think, and clogged, so they cleared that out. And they were working on the drainage underneath Madison, going out to the open space there. Hopefully that rectifies it, but we won't really know until we get a heavy rain. So that's what the DPW's been up to. Also, we had there's a question a couple months ago about an EPA audit that was going on. We received some recommendations back from the EPA. Right now, we're going to be in the process of implementing the plan. I don't know if Scott wants to talk about that more later, or Randy, but the EPA gave us back the recommendations and things they like to see corrected. And we're in the process. We're going to sit down and meet with the town engineer and Al Gallo and start moving forward with this corrective action plan. With the fire companies, Brendan, when is the big night?
It is September 23rd, Saturday night.
And the Mega 50, the infamous Mega 50/50. If you want a ticket, find a firefighter. They'll be more than happy to sell you as many as you need. You can always reach out to them on social media or their website to get information on the comedy night as well as the Mega 50/50. From the police liaison report. Let me pull this up. Hang on one second. From Lieutenant Chambrillo. There was a lot of roads closed after the storm damage last week, but it seems that they're all in Millington area. The roads are all open for business now, as is Northfield Road, which NJ American was working on. So all the roads in town right now are open. However, be mindful, Mountain Avenue from basically the river to the Valley Road border, it's tentatively scheduled for the 21st and the 22nd to be milled and paved. So if it happens, it happens. Just keep that in mind. Hopefully it's done before school starts. Speaking of which, school starts September 5th. The police will be out monitoring traffic. Please be mindful. The kids are going to be back walking, taking the buses. So please be a little more mindful when you're driving around in the mornings and afternoons that school is starting before our next meeting. The fraud presentation that was conducted after our last meeting at the senior center went very well. Thanks to our resident Mary Mayer suggested to us that we should film it and broadcast it. So Mary, thank you for the great idea. That was done. It was presented by the Long Hill Detectives, as well as a member of one of the manager of local banks. So if anybody wants to watch the fraud presentation, it's available on the township website. So there's a lot of helpful tips. I'm sure there are questions and answers some of you may have. Please check it out. And finally, this is something new. Remember, we have the pothole repair hotline. Now we're going to have traffic complaint hotline. So if people have complaints about traffic in their neighborhood, speeding, dangerous areas, please call the police. It's 908-647-1800, extension 252. That's extension 252. Please leave your name, a contact number, and specific details of your traffic complaint, the type of complaint, the location, the time of day that you see it more than others, the direction of traffic. The more information that the police department has, the better they can combat this issue and at least try to rectify it. If there's an urgent problem with traffic or speeding or something, just call 647-1800 and speak to a dispatcher, and he or she will be able to help you in a more immediate need. And then what was the last one with the police? Was there something else, Scott, we need to talk about with the police liaison report? Oh, we're going to try to put down, we redo the website. They'll be able to report traffic complaints. We did have, as we mentioned, the traffic committee meeting a couple months ago. Some of those issues are already being implemented with sight lines. And we put up on Oaks Road, there was an issue with a curve that drops off the side of the road. Chevron signs were placed up there recently to alert people that there's a curve and that there's a dangerous curve there and it might drop off the road. So that's one thing that was already implemented directly from the meeting. We're working on some other things. I believe that the administrator is going to reach out to the county in the next few days about Northfield Road and Valley Road, because we have numerous people have said to us there's some accidents there and there's people crossing because of the school. And obviously, because it's a county road, we can't do anything about it, or we can, but we can't without their permission. So Randy's going to reach out to the county engineer to have a discussion, see what, if anything, can be done or they're willing to do. I believe that's everything, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And, I'll just tag something on to your police liaison report. I did have a status call with Bob Falzerano. He continues to make progress working with our officer in charge in terms of collecting very granular data for analysis. He did also have a meeting with the PBA that went very well. And, he's working very hard on the first leg of the journey here for that internal report. Okay, so I think we're done with liaison reports. Randy, administrators report.
Thank you, Mayor. To complement what Committeeman Dorsey said, we did receive the EPA inspection report late yesterday. We are reviewing the recommendations internally, and early next week, we'll be meeting with all the people involved and coming up with a corrective action plan that we will share with the committee once we do that. The 2023 road overlay project has begun today with milling for the next couple of days, paving next week. Those roads are Tanglewood, Elliott, Nolendale, Cottage, Dunbridge, and Fawn Ridge. If the numbers come in good, we may be able to do Sussex also, but that would be done later in the year. One last thing I have, our joint insurance fund, better known as the JIF, has settled a lawsuit that involved the Township of Long Hill and a retail establishment in Long Hill Township. The JIF will be paying $20,000 in the settlement. The township will be responsible for paying $0. And this was determined by the JIF attorneys in conjunction with the retail establishment, and the joint insurance fund basically felt that the $20,000 was very reasonable, was a financial decision, if you will, and a business decision, because it would have cost much more in legal fees if we had to go to court. So that is settled. With that, I would ask that the mayor and committee pass a resolution to allow the mayor to sign any of the paperwork that's necessary, or have any of the township officials sign paperwork that would be necessary to solidify this settlement.
Okay, Jack, I think you put together a resolution tonight, right?
That's correct, Mayor, and I circulated it to all the attached committee members as well as the clerk and the administrator.
And do you have the resolution number handy?
I gave it 3 or 240, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not.
240. I gave it 23-240. Is that okay, Megan?
Yes, that's perfect, Jack. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So can I have a motion to approve resolution 23-240, approving the JIF settlement for the retail establishment?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Ray,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pasurgia might have dropped off. So he'll abstain, and Mayor Lavender.
Yes. So, some residents may have questions on this. One aspect of this agreement is confidentiality. And so I'm not going to accept questions from the public on this, but what I will do is read you a statement. And this statement can be considered a press release, whatever, but it's going to be the limit of what we say on this. So please, politely honor my request to not take any questions on this. So here goes. In July 2021, an incident occurred at a retail store in Valley Mall, resulting in accusations of racial profiling being levied against a Long Hill police officer. The officer had responded to a request by store management to investigate suspicious behavior indicative of possible shoplifting. The police body cam video of the incident clearly documents that the Long Hill police officer acted with professionalism. The Long Hill Township Committee, Township Administration, and Long Hill Police Department consider the accusations of these individuals to be completely without merit. That said, Long Hill Township, in cooperation with our joint insurance fund, also known as the JIF, has agreed to support an out-of-court resolution by the JIF. In no way is this statement an admission of culpability on the part of Long Hill Township nor any other party. I reiterate, our police officer did nothing wrong. However, in the interest of putting this behind us, we've authorized the JIF to agree to resolve any possible or actual claims between the retail store and the township on Long Hill's behalf. And I would like to add that this settlement carries zero financial cost to the township of Long Hill since it's being paid by the JIF. And that's it. So next topic, Randy.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay. I need to switch gears, so just give me a second. I think we had some discussion items, right? Randy, do you want to?
Yes, we have the PBA run that the PBA is asking for, kind of like the committee's blessing on that. Everybody was given a copy of the route and what the run entails.
Okay, do you want to provide a little bit of a synopsis on that? When is the date of the event?
In 1 second, Mayor.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I turned on my TV by accident. Megan, do you have the dates of that, Megan?
They're proposing it be February 10th, 2024 from 9 to 1300 hours. What's that, 2? 9 to 2? It's a 5K 10-mile run in town.
9 to 1, 1300.
This event would be sponsored by Superhero Racing.
The date of that again?
February 10th, 2024.
Oh, okay.
They're seeking their township committee approval to our union, fully committing to this event.
Okay, so do we have to do a resolution on that?
I don't think so, because
No.
they'll have to do a special event permit and everything like that you'll have to vote on. I think they're just looking for your blessing right now to.
So we could
Move
just
forward.
do a voice vote.
Yeah, they're looking for your blessing because they don't want to start any work without knowing if the committee's in favor of it or not.
All right, I'll start it off. I think it's a great idea. Brendan,
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Matt,
I have no issue with it. I think it'll be fun.
Vic,
Agreed.
Guy. Guy's smiling. I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay,
Fully support.
fully support. All right.
I will let them know.
All right, so next, property maintenance code. I think Mark, our code enforcement officer, had some submitted suggestions. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, there's sent out to you guys is like about 2.5 pages of recommendations that he's looking to explore with the township committee. I don't know if you want me to go through them or.
Maybe just the high points. I think one thing in particular he was focusing on was vacant properties, right?
He's focusing on vacant properties, including some interference with safety, site plan, site ways, sidewalks and thoroughfares that are overgrown from people's shrubs or trees.
Yeah, so one of the problems that we've heard in town are coming up the street corners when you're driving and not being able to see what's coming on the other side. And this is suggestions that had come out of the Traffic Safety Committee. Mark Andres has put together some suggestions on how to tighten up the wording on that and make sure that we've got some teeth in enforcing how those sight lines are maintained. The other thing is vacant properties and dilapidated properties in town. We need to do a better job of cleaning some of that up, and Mark is looking to strengthen what we have in the code so far. Jack, have you had conversations with Mark, or are you just reviewing his suggestions?
I haven't had conversations, but I have reviewed his suggestions, and if you wish, I can plug it into an ordinance for the next meeting.
Yeah, we can do that. Randy, was there anything else relevant in there that I didn't mention?
He's adding some new sections regarding building maintenance, making it, if you will, a little more detailed, so that people are aware of what he looks at and so forth, which I think is a good thing. There's nothing really outrageous in the request or anything. I think it's just some common sense code maintenance that he'd like to see updated in the municipal code ordinance.
The only tricky section, I think, is the landscape maintenance, but we can discuss it next time. That's always a difficult issue in a town like Long Hill. It's not all developments, of the same kind of houses. We've got different areas of town. We've got Myersville, we've got Sterling. So I think that's the only one that will really deserve any discussion.
Okay, good. So you'll put that into a resolution, and we'll have a reading on it next time.
Yep, we'll have it ready for introduction next meeting.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. I don't think we have any other topics for discussion. Randy, I'll defer to you. We're good. All right. So let's move into all the new business. We have two resignations that are on our agenda to accept. First, Phil Pontoro for Environmental Commission and Open Space, and second, Scott Hain resigning from the Board of Adjustment. So can I have a motion to accept the resignations I just read?
So moved. Up second.
Okay, so Matt motioned, Brendan second.
Do you want to do an all in favor? You want to do a roll call vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Very good. All right, next, Township Committee appointments. We have Board of Adjustment, Tom Flatley, with a term expiration of 12/23/25. And I believe that's sort of a promotion, right? And then we have Board of Adjustment Alt 1, Anthony Opalka, term expires 12/31/2024. And then lastly, Board of Adjustment Alt 2, Randy Watts, term expires 12/31/2023. So those three appointments. So can I have a motion to accept the Township Committee appointments as stated?
So moved.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we have two mayoral appointments. First is Environmental Commission, Anna Rugolo, and second is Environmental Commission Alt 1, Robert Lynn. Both have terms that expire 12/31/2024. So those are mayoral appointments, no other action needed, right, Megan? Okay. Next, announcements. Brendan, I'll throw this one over to you. If you could just kind of reiterate the comedy night, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Saturday, September 23rd, we will have the Millington and Sterling Comedy Night. It is $45 per ticket at the door or available in advance. A little bit of color over who will actually be providing the entertainment. The headliner for the show is a Mr. Robert Falcone. He has played at the Atlantic City Borgata. That was his warm-up for the senior center gig. But he has also been he has also appeared in Orange is the New Black and HBO's The Sopranos. The Matt Jenkins, who is a comedian in some of the major clubs in New York and also played the college circuit, he will be the he will be featured in the show. We're actually having a musical guest as well, and Ms. Lee Moretti will be providing the music for the event, and she is actually toured with Third Eye Blind, and so we've lined up a very good cast here for the comedy night. $45, as I say, per ticket, age 21 and over only. And there will be free hot dogs, water, and popcorn will be served, as well as, of course, we'll have beer and sausage and peppers on tap as well.
Great. Sounds like a fun time. So how do people get tickets to that?
They can, as I say, they will be available at the door, or they can contact anybody at the Millington or Stirling Volunteer Fire Companies, or we'll go through our social media pages, our Facebook, in order to purchase tickets.
Great, thank you. Any other announcements? Okay.
Oh, well, hang on,
Go
I do
ahead.
have one. I was told that the town website actually does have a link to report traffic complaints. And they also have a link for code enforcement. So if you have a property code problem in your neighborhood, there's also, you can click on the link and report it there too. So there is a traffic and code enforcement link that the public can report things that might spark an investigation.
Thank you. Great. Any other announcements?
Mayor, if I could just give one more announcement kind of related to the comedy night, and that's about our mega 50/50. It's an exciting announcement. And I think up until now we've said that it's up to $12,500 potentially, but ticket sales are going so well right now that we are guaranteeing a prize of $12,500. Tickets are $20 each, and they can be purchased from anybody in the fire companies, Millington or Stirling, or through social media.
And when is the drawing on that?
That will be at 10 p.m. on the 23rd. So 10 p.m. on the night of the comedy night at the Local Health Senior Centre.
And do you have to be present in order to claim your prize?
You do not need to be present. So.
And will you be announcing the winners at one of the upcoming meetings?
I will indeed.
And are you going to be taking taxes out of that 12,500?
That's the responsibility of the lucky winner.
Okay, you'll have to handwrite them in 1099.
You know what, Mr. Mayor, I find offense with that, and Brendan, I'm going to defend you. Brendan's only point would be to take a taste, just a taste. That's it.
Like a 50% taste.
Why do you have to go there, Mr. Mayor? Why?
Someone has to. All right, so any other announcements? Thanks, Brendan. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to open the meeting to the public. We're going to limit your comments and remarks to 3 minutes, please. Megan, I see a number of attendees on Zoom. Does anybody have their hand raised?
Anybody would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. CA would like to speak.
Go ahead. Please announce your name and address, please.
Charles Aronowitz, Heritage Road. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I've got about 6 topics. We'll see how far we get. We all know now the township committee member who called the police lieutenant and the subsequent dispatch of the police to remove former Chief Naga from the municipal building on the evening of June 6th. We read about this in the echoes, watched the police body cam videos of this incident, and we tried to use the police to enforce a private agreement. You all promised me and the taxpayers several meetings back that your behavior will not cost the Long Hill taxpayer more dollars. Well, this behavior may be very costly. So what I'm going to recommend to you tonight that the individual township committee member that called the police to enforce a private agreement resign immediately tonight. We can't afford this behavior, which you promised would stop, which didn't. I hope you'll gladly accept his resignation sometime tonight. Consent resolution, item 2, consent resolution 22-239, $49,995 for electric message sign. Where are we going to put this $500,000 sign? And if you're going to respond, stop the clock.
Randy, do you want to respond to that?
Stop the clock.
Yes, the sign will be going at the municipal building to make more transparency as has been requested by public on numerous occasions, and announce different events upcoming.
I'd like an update on the approved redevelopment zones in Long Hill Township. Please
Be
stop
more
the clock.
specific.
We have 2 redevelopment zones in the township that are improved under the prior administrations. I'd like an update on the properties.
Be more specific. Are you referring to the car wash?
There's 2,
property?
let me tell you, just so you know, Mayor, there are 2 redevelopment zones that have been approved in the town. One is at Thermoplastics on Valley Road. The second is the car wash in Valley Road. Those are the
Okay.
2. I'd like an update. Stop
All
the
right.
clock, please.
So first off, let's talk about the car wash. As you're probably aware, the Board of Adjustment approved some variances for a assisted living facility to potentially be built behind the Walgreens. In the developer that we have the pilot agreement with on the car wash is put their plans on hold pending an outcome of what happens in Walgreens. They haven't sent us any notice that they're pulling out or not. Hold on. They haven't sent us any notice, but they have talked about some alternative plans, et cetera. Now, I know, Chuck, you had sent me an email asking how much money the township might have spent on this. What I'd like to tell you is that the township didn't spend any money on this pilot program. In fact, we were paid by the developer for our legal costs in terms of the investigation on this.
Including the development study? We got reimbursed on a development study?
Jack, Randy, you want to answer that?
The development study was done way prior to any redevelopers being talked with. So yes, the township had some costs with that, but that's not related to one specific redevelopment zone. That's related to the redevelopment zone in its entirety.
Now, with regard to the second property, we have been in conversations with the developer. One of the things that has come up now are new environmental protection regulations as of July 1st. And we've kind of put that on hold as Mark Katarniak, our engineer, reviews those and sees what impact, if any, they would have on changes to that property.
I didn't get a very strong comfort feeling tonight with the New Jersey American Water presentation where we're going to have the sewer capacity expanded by October 2025. What are the penalties if they don't meet that date?
Jack, what are the penalties?
They'll be in breach of contract, so we'll have the right to seek, to be reimbursed for any costs we incur as a result of the delay. We could also get a court order ordering them to comply.
Okay, next question, Chuck.
Yeah, Mayor, you promised we would meet Scary Smart, Party Township Minister Robert Falzarano at this meeting.
I don't know that I
heard you're
promised.
up.
I said that I thought I would try to get that happen. Now, I did talk to Bob and we talked about the utility of
I
having
understand
him in
that.
here, and we decided that we were not going to do it.
You said at 2 meetings ago when the.
Don't
when-
put words into my mouth, Chuck, and don't use the word promise. I don't like that verb.
I don't like your language. You said.
Next question.
Watch the videotape and you'll see.
Next
what you said.
question.
since COVID, we've been trying to get Zoom so that we could see the participants on the call and who has their hand raised. Tonight, same thing. Don't see it, but you guys get to see some of it and we see none of it. When are you going to implement that capability?
I can't speak to that, Chuck. That's probably a feature restriction of Zoom webinar, which is what we use.
Well, it's been asked for 2 years. So
Yeah,
could
I
we
don't
get a
control
response?
I don't control software development at Zoom, though.
Well, I can help you if you need help with software development. It's not a problem.
Are you a software developer, Chuck?
Yes, I was trained by Ross Perot. I can read machine language. You want to help me?
I can read machine
hexadecimal.
language. I can read, I can do
read-
C,
read
I can program in
hexadecimal
C,
too. Very
Chuck.
good.
You know
I can
SQL?
read hexadecimal and I can code in assembler. I can read the 16 registers. What else? you
Yeah,
want?
let me quiz you on octal, pal.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. Now, let me tell you this. I'm not pleased with the responses tonight, and please accept the resignation tonight that I requested. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd be more than happy to discuss body worn camera footage with Mr. Orlenowitz at any time in public at our next meeting.
All right. Next
Looking
caller.
forward to that.
Next caller.
Anybody else on Zoom would like to speak, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Mayor.
Okay, well then I will close public session and ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, real quick, we do have